See it played, Death Ride, Halfaya Pass. So, I don't think I've shown the turn record track. I guess I'll do that at least once here. This is where we started the battle, 4 o'clock in the morning on the 15th of June, 1941. This was when the British reinforcements came on. Not a large group of reinforcements. So here we are, this turn right here, the last daylight turn, turn number 8, last daylight turn on the first day of the battle. It's where we are now. I rolled for the air mission. Germans rolled an 8, so they don't get a mission. That's why I pushed it forward to the next turn. Now this, of course, raises the question, is there even air support at night? I would certainly think that there's not. But I can't remember if well, actually I'm going to look for night rules next. Obviously, night's going to affect the duration of turns doubles, right? So these are 2-hour daylight turns. They go to 4-hour night turns. Obviously, line of sight is going to be affected. I do believe that there's a combat modifier. Well, I'll look into all the night stuff next. But normally I push the if the side doesn't get their air mission, I push it forward to the next turn block. So I'll just put it there for now. The British Army rolled a 1, so they get a mission. Now, this might be the first one in this whole battle. Now, what's odd is the rules make it sound like a side can only get 1 mission per turn. And in the counter mix, there is only 1 German. In the counter mix, there is only 1 German air mission counter. But in the counter mix, you have 2 identical 85th Squadron counters. And I have no idea why. So I'm going to assume, that we still only play with 1. I don't know if that's right or not. But they got their air mission. So I'm taking 1 counter. Because again, this is an air mission. And the rules make it sound like that's what it is, an air mission. I think that's all. Turn tracks are about halfway through the battle. So really the first day is a very interesting, to me, approach march as the British Army closes on the Halfaya Pass defenders. I still think there are a lot of, I think that there's a lot of player options for how they do that for the whole first day. We're going to go through night here, and then I think day 2 should be a lot of close combat if I go into day 2. I know I want to look at night because I've never done night before in the Death Ride series. I know I want to get into some close combat. I know I want to look at night. Whether I continue on, I don't know at this point. So let's pick up with the German player turn. Yeah, so night effects are actually pretty substantial. Movement allowances are halved. Line of sight is reduced to 1 hex, and there's a -4 die roll modifier on the fire table. That makes sense. But is there even anything for us? -4 for assaulting during night as well. Well, that's interesting. I'm not sure I would have the same penalty for assault as for fire combat, but okay. Wow. Yeah. So the lesson there, I think, is that you have to mass even more. For your attacks. Okay. So the Germans are having pretty good success massing this off-board artillery. Other than that, that's about all they'll have. I'm sure they'll get some suppression here. By the way, I should say before I finish off the German turn real quick and get to the British Army turn is that the Germans have caused 3 unit casualties. 3 British Army units have been eliminated. 1 company and 2 platoons. So it has not been bloodless for the British Army to advance here. The outboard artillery all massed on the engineer platoon behind here because I used I checked from this stack of German units to observe. I also could have used a unit up here, but in any case they got an S3 on the engineer platoon, and then this artillery unit and this artillery unit together massed and they got a straight up kill. So the engineer platoon is gone. There's actually, I think there's one more British Army engineer platoon coming up right there. And if I'm going to have the Germans try to take it out at the first opportunity. But that makes me wonder if the British Army does not have engineers to clear these mines on either side of the Halfaya Pass Road. Is there some other way for the British Army to remove those mines other than using engineers? Yeah, so only engineers can remove minefields. Of course, units can still go through there and risk taking losses. It entails a roll on. Yeah, so you have to roll on entering a mine hex table. You have to roll on this table upon entering, and then roll on this the following turn to exit. Yeah, that's not insignificant. Yeah. So heavy weapons platoon from this company. Got another S1 on the Delta Infantry Company there. That's it for the French turn. I will be moving to the British Army turn next. So I'm into the British Army turn. I went ahead and did all the checked for command and control relationships. I'm finding again that the easiest way is definitely to start with your units at the bottom echelon wise and go back. So again, it's 7 hexes up to your battalion headquarters and 13 hexes for both your battalion headquarters and basically your attachments up to your 13 hexes up to your regimental headquarters. So again, on the board, the British Army is good, but it's easier to just look and say, okay, these units color-coded. They're color-coded, so these units have to trace to this one, to their, in this case, this is their battalion headquarters. Their battalion headquarters traces to this regimental headquarters. And then you just kind of eyeball and make sure that basically again, if you start on the outside, you can get an idea of the zones. But I think you have to work pretty hard to get out of command control, except maybe your combat units to their battalion headquarters. Okay, and I want to talk a little bit here quickly to just highlight the absolute uniqueness, I think, of the game design. I've talked about this before, but I probably don't talk about it enough. So I want to get up here and I want to get in combat before nightfall, so that's this turn. I want to get in close combat with this 88 platoon here. And so I've got 3 infantry companies here. Again, they're moving only 2 movement points per escarpment hex here for them on foot. I have but first I have a air unit, an air mission that could go in first. So the air mission will go in first. I'm just going to go ahead and concentrate on this point. By the way, tactically, okay, well, let me finish what I was saying. So first I'm going to send in the air mission. I think the air mission has to, a ground attack has to be separate by itself. That makes sense because you're rolling on a specific table for that. So I'm choosing to put the air mission in first, and then I'm planning on, when that's done, using my artillery back here to send a indirect fire mission in. Oh, except, never mind, I don't have a spotter. So that just eliminated that opportunity. Huh. Yeah. Yeah. They can't see the British down here on the escarpment, so the British can't see the Germans. Okay, well, the air mission can still go in. You don't need a spotter for that. So I will do that. All right, artillery not yet, and then I'll move up. The infantry move up and do some close combat. But interestingly, I was thinking tactically, and I'm not doing tactics here, I'm just getting in as much of the rules mechanics as I can. But tactically, I might just bypass the 88s entirely. And yeah, bypass the 88s and get into the other targets. So that made me think, well, can the 88s even move? Because on this side, they have a movement allowance of 0. Flip them over. Oh, look at that. They do have a mounted side. And they are wheeled. So, but then I was thinking, well, wait a minute. They're up here on escarpment too. I thought that wheeled couldn't climb escarpment without a road. So if they can't climb escarpment, you would think that they can't go down either. So it almost seems like they're stuck up here on these. See, this is a 3 hex high ground here of our escarpment 2. So putting the rules together, it seems like the 88s are stuck there after they're deployed. That sure seems to be the way it looks, unless there's some type of exception I'm not aware of. So I'm going to see what this whole attack on this first point there, how this turns out for the British Army. Just to note here, yep. So the British companies moved up adjacent and they survived. Now the Germans did roll pretty miserably. I think they rolled like a 2 and a 3, I think. But they're up there now, no problem. And just quick commentary, I don't have time to go to elaborate. I like the fact that in this game, so far in all of my play of the Death Ride series, I haven't found any of these super weapons that are just unbelievably lethal on their own. But anyways, what's interesting now is that now that they're adjacent, as far as I understand, the rules don't prohibit this. So I think now, remember these are 2-hour turns, so I think now they can spot now for my indirect fire. So now I'm going to send the indirect fire in on the 88s. Just to finish that action off, I went ahead and massed all this fire. So 3 artillery batteries from the 4th Royal Horse Artillery, plus the mortars from the battalion, and got an S3 on the 88s there. Now the fact that they're adjacent to enemy means that they're only going to recover 1 suppression level per turn.